You're watching ABC7 News at 7.
I think most of the jobs that most college graduates get, it's hard to financially support yourself all on your own.
Good news, millennials are getting college degrees. Bad news, many of them aren't making enough to live on. So can we blame them for still living with their parents? Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohen, and welcome to ABC7 at 7. We'll have more on millennials making a living in a moment, but first, our top 7 stories at 7. The school year may be over, but with less than 3 months until the next one begins, Manatee County is scrambling to get its school safety plan in place. The Manatee County School Board deciding to go with a guardian program, which means school employees will be hired as armed security for the schools. Guardians will replace SROs in the majority of district elementary schools. While the 30 jobs have been posted, the school board still has to approve the job description and qualifications.
Having firsthand knowledge of some of the tragedies that happen, we can only keep promoting smart public policy. I think the ground is shifting. I think more and more people are starting to think about these tragic losses, these senseless losses as a result of Parkland.
Once the guardians are hired, they have to go through 6 weeks of training with the Manatee County Sheriff's Office. That means they would have to start training by July 2nd to be ready for the first day of school. Meanwhile, in Sarasota County School Board Chair Bridget Ziegler is calling for a joint meeting between local law enforcement and the school district after what appears to be months of miscommunication. The school district is moving full steam ahead with creating its own police force, while Sheriff Tom Knight continues to hire school resource deputies. While Ziegler admits the meeting should have come sooner, she says it is an opportunity to get everyone to the table.
This is a great opportunity for a transparent discussion, lean on their expertise to assist us as the district moves forward with an internal police department, understand what infrastructure needs we need, and ultimately make sure that the public has a very clear understanding of what that entails and how we can all work together.
Ziegler says all Sarasota County law enforcement will be invited to the table, including Sarasota, Venice, and Northport police departments. The Sarasota County Sheriff's Office will soon have another option when it comes to air support. The County Commission approving the purchase of a second helicopter. The used 2012 Bell helicopter comes with a $3.5 million price tag. Funding for the purchase will come from law enforcement impact fees and justice facility impact fees. The Sheriff's Office estimates its current helicopter, Air One, was unable to help with more than 300 calls last year due to being out of service. The city of Sarasota wants to make the streets as safe as possible this summer. Gun owners can give the firearms they no longer want or need right to the Sarasota PD instead of making it available on the resale market. The program is being called Done with the Gun. City Manager Tom Barwin says it's a collaboration between the city and Sarasota Police where anyone can turn in a firearm no longer needed. The first rifle will be donated to be used by the Sarasota SWAT team, but most of the guns collected will be melted down. Barwin says the initiative will be a step in the right direction.
We've got just too many weapons available out there. It's the wild, wild west. It's sort of a free-for-all. Just this year alone, the Sarasota Police Department have recovered 75 firearms.
To learn how to take part in the Sarasota Done with the Gun program, go to our website at mysuncoast.com. Click on the story link for specific information. The Venice Police Department is investigating an accident where a bicyclist was killed. The accident happened this afternoon just before 4 o'clock in Venice on Palmero Place and Nokomis Avenue South. Venice police believe a nearby truck was involved, but they are not yet sure what role it played. No information has been released on the man killed. Okay, word to the wise. If you're trying to get away from the police, hiding in a chimney, not the best option. Sheriff's deputies are arresting this morning a man after he allegedly stole a truck and tried to hide in a chimney. According to Manatee County Sheriff's deputies Cecil Johnston and Taryn Shawnee, stole a U-Haul truck near Fort Myers, and when deputies in Manatee County recognized it, while trying to get away, they crashed into a patrol car. Shawnee was arrested for possession of a controlled substance, and Johnson was later found hiding inside a chimney. This Friday, ABC7's First Alert weather team will explain everything you need to know before hurricane season, including evacuation routes, flood zones, what shelters are pet-friendly and new transportation options, plus what you need to do to secure your home and boat and preparations you need to make for your pets. Experts will be in the studio to answer your questions live on the air. Tune in Friday night, 7 p.m. right here on ABC7 for everything you need to know about surviving a hurricane. Now let's head over to ABC7's chief meteorologist, Bob Harrigan. First Alert forecast. Bob.
Thanks, Alan. If we don't answer everything, you can also ask us questions live on our Facebook page at ABC7 WWSB. You want to follow that as well. Tower Cam showing a lot of rainfall around today. In fact, we had more rain today than we saw with Alberto when it went on by. This is Tower Cam at 11 o'clock this morning. You can see just a tremendous amount of rain falling in a short period of time, causing some ponding of the water in the roadways and causing some flooding that normally floods on some of those roadways, especially near US 41 in downtown Sarasota. You can see right now, though, this is at 4:47. Skies began to clear and things are starting to dry out a little bit. Here's the satellite imagery, GOES satellite imagery. This is the new one and really gives a good detail of that energy in the atmosphere right there in the eastern Gulf of Mexico. You'll see this, I push it into motion. A lot of big storms around through the midday, and then by 3 o'clock, it thins out, and that's that drier air starting to slip in, and there's still a little bit of a weak disturbance here along the eastern Gulf of Mexico. Still some spotty showers out there that are trailing in our direction, so we'll keep about a 40% chance for a spotty shower to move onshore over the upcoming hours, but not a lot of rain expected through this evening. So if you have a trip planned, driving should not be an issue. Big storms up near Interstate 4 near Lakeland, and not much going on, as I said here. Those showers offshore, a little bit of light rain near Northport. Boy, the rainfall totals were heavy, especially inland. Get a look at that. Some of that up to nearly 4 inches of rain fell into Hardy County, and over 2 inches of rain in southeast Manatee County. And at the airport, over an inch. And this is going to go down as one of the wettest Mays on record in South Sarasota.
We needed the rain, Bob, but like uncle.
I know, exactly. Stop it, please. It will come to an end here pretty quickly. Over the weekend, looking good.
All right, thanks a lot, Bob. And still to come, with so many entry-level jobs not paying well, can we blame so many millennials who choose to live with their parents to save money?
Selfless service is the principle that guides Army National Guard soldiers to be ready whenever disaster strikes. They have a stake in the well-being of the neighborhoods where they live and work. They train part-time to be ready to serve at all times. Selfless service. It's what inspires the men and women of the Army National Guard to be part of something greater than themselves. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more.
Sarasota Oxygen and CPAP is the largest locally owned CPAP supply company in the area. Is it time to replace your old equipment? The staff at Sarasota Oxygen and CPAP can show you the most up-to-date CPAP equipment and supplies to meet your sleep apnea needs, including portable travel devices and the SoClean automatic CPAP sanitizer. We serve all of Southwest Florida, giving the highest quality of care with the finest CPAP equipment. Please visit our website, sarasotacpap.com.
On average, an American household with at least one credit card struggles with over $15,000 in credit card debt. But right now, if you qualify for National Debt Relief's Debt Reset program, your debt balances and monthly payments will be reduced while you become debt-free in 24 to 48 months. Enroll now and there won't be any upfront costs or out-of-pocket expenses. To qualify for the Debt Reset program, you must have at least $10,000 or more in credit card debt, unsecured loan debt, collection debt, and/or medical bills. You must also be past due or struggling to make minimum monthly payments or considering filing for bankruptcy. If this sounds like you, avoid the serious consequences of bankruptcy and take advantage of National Debt Relief's Debt Reset program today and become debt-free in 24 to 48 months. Call now to see if you qualify. A debt relief counselor is available to assist you 24 hours a day.
Call 800-731-6432. That's 800-731-6432. Designers do it with style.
Tell me what's going on here. Because
well, you don't like my hair?
The Mark and Mandy Show. In-depth design ideas.
What is up with the tuck tape here? Let's cover it up.
Amazing beauty and fashion tips.
So Halle Berry has amazing skin. Her secret is coffee grounds.
No.
Delicious recipes.
Today, I'm going to show you a special dish that is sure to please that special someone in your life.
Watch The Mark and Mandy Show right here on your favorite channel.
Download the all-new ABC7 First Alert Weather app now.
Most parents dream of the day their kids get their diploma and fly the coop. The problem is all too often these days those degrees don't command salaries which allow today's graduates to earn enough money to live on. ABC7's Jess Dowdrick joins us now to explain what it's like for millennials here on the Suncoast. Jess.
Alan, in New York, a set of parents took their 30-year-old son to court to evict him because he was still living at home. Now, while this may be an extreme situation, the basis is very real. Studies show every 3 millennials are still living with their parents because they just can't afford to live on their own. Bradenton native Haley Hockenberry graduated from the University of Central Florida last May. She still vividly remembers the struggle of searching for her first full-time job.
A month went by, 2 months went by, and I spent a lot of time trying to make it happen, and it just wasn't.
She wasn't alone.
Most of the people that I knew and that was in my graduating class didn't have jobs set up.
After 3 months, Hockenberry landed her job producing the 5 o'clock news here at ABC7. Being so close to home, Hockenberry is taking advantage of living in Bradenton with her mom.
The cost of living is just so high. I think most of the jobs that most college graduates get, it's hard to financially support yourself all on your own. And coming out of college, where I had my parents helping me out in college, trying to go straight on my own was very difficult with the salary that you make as a recent college graduate.
Welcome to the club.
The majority of the people that I did graduate with kind of went into similar roles, and they are either living at home or they're living in a big house with a lot of roommates that kind of can help lower their rent so their bills aren't as hard on them.
According to the U.S. Census Bureau, 38% of millennials ages 18 to 34 are living at home with their parents. Forbes attributes the growing rate to student loan debt. According to Forbes, an average millennial faces $37,000 in student loan debt, forcing graduates to move back home and save money. At the University of South Florida, Sarasota, Manatee, many students live at home to save money while going through school.
They may extend that period because the cost of living, our housing, our groceries, those things are much higher than many other cities may be. So they are electing to stay at home longer, or they have to find a roommate in order to survive in our community.
Pair the cost of living with the fact that the average millennial salaries are disproportionately low compared to the national average, and you get more millennials living with mom and dad. Career Source Suncoast works with a lot of millennials to help them find jobs with livable salaries.
We're seeing in the high 30s to low 40s, but again, it just depends on what type of career they're looking to get into. So you're going to have a different salary for a teacher than you are for an accountant.
Here are some of the entry-level average salaries for different jobs here on the Suncoast. According to Career Source Suncoast, entry-level teachers make $28,000 a year. Bank tellers, $27,000, police officers, $45,000, lawyers, $42,600, firefighters, $38,700, travel agents, $25,900. Most of those salaries aren't enough to live comfortably on the Suncoast, according to the Economic Policy Institute. A new study released by the EPI shows that for a single person living alone to live modestly in Sarasota County, he or she should make at least $37,143 annually. In Manatee County, the number is slightly lower at $36,013. The biggest cost for each county being housing.
We have a large number of apartments. There's a waiting list for them.
Harvey Vengroff owns several affordable housing complexes across the Suncoast, providing homes for people at as little as $350 per month. 2/3 of his tenants, he says, are millennials.
The average wage of our population is somewhere between $13 and $20 an hour.
Or $27,000 to $41,600 per year. Again, the entry-level salary for a majority of millennials. If you go on our website, mysuncoast.com, there's a list of almost 500 different careers and jobs here on the Suncoast. It compares how much an entry-level position makes, so those millennials that we're talking about here, compared to someone who is experienced in the position. It's quite an interesting comparison, Alan.
Jess, thank you. Up next, two millennials, an economist and Sarasota's most affordable housing expert. The rent is cheap at the Trapezoid.
My credit score was not that great. I didn't understand what went into my credit score. It was overwhelming.
Do you want to attain better credit health but don't know where to start? Credit Sesame can help by providing you a free credit score.
I love the app. It's so easy to use. It's like having your own financial coach. Credit Sesame broke my credit score down into things that I understood, and it made me think, I can do this.
And the awesome thing about Credit Sesame, it's free.
It's 100% free. You don't need to go it alone. Get started today at creditsesame.com.
So I kind of grew up all across the country. I come from 5 generations of military men. My dad is still active duty. My grandpa is retired Marines. I like going for runs with my dog. I love, taking her out to the dog beach over in Venice. There are so many things here to do on the Suncoast. My goal every day when I come into work at ABC7 is to tell your stories, give you that major local news and those details that you really care about. I'm Jacqueline Matter, and I'm here for you.
Looking for something fun to do on a Friday night? Then come to Music on Main, the first Friday of every month at Lakewood Ranch. Enjoy free live music, dancing, great food, and lots of fun for every family member, even the furry ones. Meet up with friends, enjoy activities for the kids, or make it a special date night. And be sure to stop by the ABC7 booth and say hello. Mark your calendars for Music on Main, first Friday of the month, 6 to 9 at Lakewood Ranch. Brought to you by ABC7 and these sponsors.
I'm Anne. I'm a scientist.
Recycling takes a team.
Why don't you let me and me help you out?
Everyone plays a part. Don't trash
I love taking stuff apart and building new things out of it.
what could be treasure.
Pal's my most advanced android. This is awesome. You haven't seen anything yet.
Give your cardboard box another life. Recycle.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
Welcome back. We love our kids, we really do, but the best thing about them getting their college diplomas is that they get off the payroll and get out of the house, right? Increasingly, no. According to the last census, 31% of all 18 to 30-year-olds still live with their folks. That's compared to 26% in 1975. Is it a reflection of how much they love us and can't bear to leave our happy homes? Or is it because the corporations, who, by the way, are doing just fine, thank you, and getting those lion's share of the tax cut, isn't passing much on to workers, especially entry-level workers? And joining us for more, our own ABC7 millennial producer, Laura Barrero, Michael Snipes, an economics instructor at USF Sarasota Manatee, Sam Rankin, an honors student at USF Sarasota Manatee, and the king of affordable housing on the Suncoast, Harvey Vengroff. Welcome to you all. Laura, let me ask you this, because you graduated UF last summer with your master's degree, congratulations, and then you entered the workforce, and you're pursuing your dream in our wonderful, important, journalism world, but it's a struggle to make it every day.
I wouldn't say every day. I wouldn't say that I'm picking pennies, but I definitely do worry about. I check my bank account every single day. I do have to worry about budgeting. It leaves less room for activities like leisure activities like traveling or hanging out with my friends at the bar. I have to cut back on those kinds of things.
You know, I would imagine that a lot of people who are watching this right now are saying, welcome to the real world. It really was not any different from us when we were graduating, going back years. It's years of struggle in order to get where you want to go.
Probably. I mean, yes, they had to struggle, but I feel like it was a lot easier to make it happen. I feel like now millennials, not only once we do get the job that we want and we do start making the salary to pay back all of our bills, it's not enough, or it takes us a long time to get there. Some people wait months to get that first job.
Michael, this is not a geographic phenomenon, because researching this, I see the similar stories all around this, not only around this country, but in Canada. I'm looking at a newspaper headline from the UK, the headline saying, "Save for our pensions, we millennials can barely find the money to live."
Yeah, and it's something that really isn't confined to one particular spot. And it really kind of a lot of what's driving it is the fact that really wages haven't really increased all that much for people of that age group. So when you've got prices going up steadily, but you've got wages remaining low, and a lot of the jobs that we're seeing being created tend to be kind of entry-level positions, don't really have a whole lot of income to them, that's really going to compound a lot of the issues that a lot of people are seeing.
Harvey, I said this is not a geographic problem in terms of what millennials face, but are there differences geographically in terms of approaches of local areas in terms of dealing with the problem?
Yeah, I think so. Some other cities are much more proactive in that they ask builders or landlords to come in and do things, and they fast track them as opposed to Sarasota. In Orlando, by the end of this next month, we'll have put up 900 apartments in Orlando, with people, 900 families living in them just in the first 6 months of this year.
So Sam, let me ask you, what bearing does your choice of major have on what you expect after your graduation? Because after all, there are certain degrees you could get that lead to higher paying jobs quicker.
Well, I actually want to open my own business, so that's why I'm pursuing business management. And starting a business, you know, you have to go into the expectation that you're not going to make a real high amount of money for a while because you are starting a business from scratch.
So are you going to live with your parents at the outset?
Yes. I'm currently living with them right now, and she said as long as I'm still in school and doing well with it.
And they know that?
Yes.
We are just getting warmed up, and we'll have much more millennials at home right after we check the First Alert Weather Service. Stay with us.
The following message is brought to you by Mesobook.com.
People who have been diagnosed with mesothelioma have many questions. How did I get this disease? What are my treatment options? How will this affect my loved ones? You need answers, which is why we offer a free book written by medical professionals who have treated mesothelioma.
Call toll-free at 1-800-777-1366 or go to mesobook.com.
Imagine a world filled with pillow fights, playgrounds, and the search for the perfect climbing tree. Every kid deserves that world, but 1 in 5 kids in America struggle with hunger. At No Kid Hungry, we're committed to creating a world where every kid eats healthy food every day. We raise funds, we help families, and we lift up communities.
Sarasota Oxygen and CPAP is the largest locally owned CPAP supply company in the area. Is it time to replace your old equipment? The staff at Sarasota Oxygen and CPAP can show you the most up-to-date CPAP equipment and supplies to meet your sleep apnea needs, including portable travel devices and the SoClean automatic CPAP sanitizer. We serve all of Southwest Florida, giving the highest quality of care with the finest CPAP equipment. Please visit our website, sarasotacpap.com.
When my youngest, Addie, was 2.5, she was diagnosed with leukemia. When we first heard that diagnosis, you feel extremely alone. Walking in that Light the Night light with 6,000 people carrying lights, white for survivors, red for supporters, gold in memory of those who have passed. It's the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society's hope that every year there are fewer gold lanterns. Your lantern will make a difference.
Start a team, join a team.
Help us light the night.
Everybody can make something, because I think everyone has a spark of creativity, and the reason that I have to keep making is because I don't think my life would be as fulfilling without it. If you make things yourself, that means you're not cowering in fear. You're out there taking chances. That, I think, is my way of saying I love you to the world. All right, now I want to hear why you make.
Share your own Why I Make story today. Visit whyimake.org.
Our conversation on millennials making it in the workplace continues right after we get a check on the first alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
All throughout its life cycle, it never looked like much of a storm, but today over land, over Indiana, it has been what it looks like to be the best looking tropical system we've seen. With Alberto, that is. Get a look at the satellite, GOES satellite visible imagery, which is really much better now than satellites in the past. This gets every 5 minutes, we get an image laid down. In some cases, every minute an image comes out with these satellites. But earlier, boy, it was just a very intense looking tropical system there, but it wasn't. It was a post-subtropical depression. It has been bringing some heavy rainfall to Indiana. It left behind a little trough of low pressure for us, and that trough of low pressure has brought us some rainfall today, some pretty heavy rain. In fact, we had more rain today than we saw with Alberto as it scooted on by the East Gulf of Mexico. This high pressure ridge will provide us with this east wind, a southeast wind over the upcoming days, and then eventually more of a west wind as a cold front comes down. You can see some of that cloudiness right now over parts of Mississippi. That's a weak cold front, which will cause us to see more of a west to southwesterly wind as that high pressure gets bumped off. And what we have here is a little drier air starting to settle in too. This morning, boy, things were really quite moist. You saw that little piece of energy brought us that heavy rainfall, and now a little trailing piece of dry air moves in right over west central Florida. That's really shut down our rainfall this evening, although there are still a few showers out there in the Gulf of Mexico. They're not very heavy. And thankfully, the heavy rain over Cuba that's been there for over a week now is starting to dissipate. Well, the showers out there in the Gulf of Mexico have a little chance to make their way on shore this evening. More so, there'll be a few showers along the Gulf of Mexico to start things off tomorrow morning. Nothing like we saw this morning, though. Just a few scattered showers expected, especially in the afternoon in the inland areas. And you can see some of the heavier rainfall still occurring just southwest of Orlando near Interstate 4. The rainfall forecast tomorrow, not nearly as high either, so we're not expecting a whole lot of rain. We'll see some scattered showers, but don't look for that widespread rain like we saw today. 80 degrees. The humidity is still high, though. 81% certainly is as a result of that south wind. That's not changing much here this evening. 29.96 inches on the barometer. And as far as the high today goes, 80 degrees only. That was a result of the cooler clouds and also the cooler rain that moved in. 97 the record, 1955, and over an inch of rainfall at the Sarasota-Braden Airport. Look at our monthly total, 6.92 inches, and our average is only 2. So this is typically a very dry month, but it's been exceptionally wet, especially in South Sarasota County, where over a foot of rain has fallen in places, but generally 10 inches at Venice and Port Charlotte and near Northport. It's the all-time wettest May on record in South Sarasota County. You can see the forecast tomorrow, a slight chance for a few coastal showers in the morning, and then a slight chance for some showers and storms developing in the afternoon, and most of that should be inland. Now for boaters tomorrow, looks pretty good. Seas running 1 to 2 feet, a light chop in the bays and inland waters, winds out of the south, turning to the southwest. In the extended forecast, rain chance at 40% tomorrow, so not nearly as high as it was today, 50% on Friday. It looks to be okay for Music on Main, and then we will see a nice weekend. Lots of sunshine, only a 20% chance for a passing shower. High temperatures in the mid-80s. It will feel a little bit warmer, though, because of the higher humidity around. Alan will be back with his guests right after this.
A decade of war has taken an unprecedented toll on our men and women in uniform.
Hundreds of thousands of our veterans are suffering from the trauma of war.
At Justice for Vets, we believe that every veteran should have the opportunity for treatment and restoration.
Get involved and go to justiceforvets.org.
Help put treatment within reach of veterans in crisis.
Veterans fought for our freedom. Now it's our turn to fight for theirs.
My credit score was not that great.
I didn't understand what went into my credit score.
It was overwhelming.
Do you want to attain better credit health but don't know where to start? Credit Sesame can help by providing you a free credit score.
I love the app. It's so easy to use. It's like having your own financial coach.
Credit Sesame broke my credit score down into things that I understood, and it made me think, I can do this.
And the awesome thing about Credit Sesame, it's free.
It's 100% free.
You don't need to go it alone. Get started today at creditsesame.com.
On average, an American household with at least one credit card struggles with over $15,000 in credit card debt. But right now, if you qualify for National Debt Relief's Debt Reset program, your debt balances and monthly payments will be reduced while you become debt-free in 24 to 48 months. Enroll now and there won't be any upfront costs or out-of-pocket expenses. To qualify for the Debt Reset program, you must have at least $10,000 or more in credit card debt, unsecured loan debt, collection debt, and/or medical bills. You must also be past due or struggling to make minimum monthly payments or considering filing for bankruptcy. If this sounds like you, avoid the serious consequences of bankruptcy and take advantage of National Debt Relief's Debt Reset program today and become debt-free in 24 to 48 months. Call now to see if you qualify. A debt relief counselor is available to assist you 24 hours a day.
Call 800-731-6432. That's 800-731-6432.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Welcome back. We're talking about millennials and making a living post-graduation, and joining us for more are our own ABC7 millennial producer Laura Barrero, Michael Snipes, an economics instructor at USF Sarasota Manatee, Sam Rankin, an honors student at USF Sarasota Manatee, and the king of affordable housing on the Suncoast, Harvey Van Grove. And Michael, let me start with you because it seems the numbers don't lie here. There are more millennials living at home with their parents now than there were back in the 1970s. And the reason, or the question is why?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, when you look at the data, and a lot of it goes back to the fact that people of this age group are earning less in real terms than people of previous generations.
Why is that?
Well, even when you look at people who have similar skill sets, look at similar experience, even when you look at and control for all of those things, people of this age group are still earning less. And it's a trend that we've seen in the data for the past 30 years. There hasn't really been a significant or meaningful increase in the wage or the real wage rate for 30 years. And so a lot of the time, a lot of the wages and the incomes and the issues that are being faced by 25-year-olds are really something that they're inheriting. They're inheriting a situation or circumstances that really were in place long before they graduated or went into the workforce.
I don't know about that. I would take the other side and say that I graduated as a biology pre-med major, and those skills had no value, and I couldn't get a job. I never got a job in my whole life because I wasn't offered a job, so I went into business.
So your criticism is that many young people are majoring in areas that are not well-paying or do not have a lot of jobs to begin with.
Well, I think people go to college and expect to come out and earn a lot of money or earn as much money as their parents did or are. And, you know, your parents have been working for 20 years longer than you have, and you're coming out and you're expecting at least as much money as they make.
Laura, when you were looking for a job, what was the biggest obstacle?
The biggest obstacle was getting the job interview. I feel like once you have the interview, you're golden, you're good, you're in the door. But the biggest, you put in your resume through this job searching website, and then they get hundreds of applicants a day, and you're basically just a number. You put in your resume, and then you fill out the application form, and then you have to sit and wait. They don't give you a phone number where you can call or an email where you can follow up with them. It's not a person that you're talking to, it's a computer. So I think that a lot of my friends, and myself included, the first struggle was actually getting an interview because you're just another applicant on somebody's table. You were saying during the break that a lot of these job ads are under minimum requirements or things that, including length of experience, or things that somebody just who is graduating is not going to meet. Right. I mean, the expectations are basically impossible. They're asking you for minimum of 2 to 4 years of experience, and you also have to be bilingual, and you also have to be an expert on Microsoft and Photoshop and everything else, and you have to be a people person. But I think the biggest hurdle is experience. If you are somebody like myself who worked their entire college experience, didn't have a lot of time for internships, you don't have those 2 to 4 years of experience.
What did you work at?
Oh, I worked everywhere. I worked from Subway to a cafe to I was a leasing agent while going to school full time. And I did make some time for internships some summers, but not enough to equate 2 to 4 years of experience, which is what some of these internal applications are asking for.
So Sam, you are, as they say, still in the queue here. You are in the incubator, which is local university here. What are your friends saying when they hear this conversation and they see that the job market out there, you know, there are not an incredible amount of jobs, and certainly not a lot of jobs out there that pay to live in a place like Sarasota?
Mm-hmm. I still have a lot of friends that are living with their parents because they can't afford with what they're wanting to do, that they're still in that starting salary, so they aren't able to afford a place on their own, or you know, they have to get several roommates to be able to afford it. And I have a lot of friends that are actually leaving to pursue their careers other places because they don't have the wages here that they need.
But that's specialization. If you know, if you go to school and you want to be in broadcasting, it's hard to get a job in broadcasting. But we have we have a company here that manages accounts receivable, Van Graff Williams, and we start people off in sales for, you know, $200,000 a year. Now, if this young lady wanted to leave broadcasting and go out on the road in sales, you might make a lot more money.
Right, of course. If I wanted to go into sales, or if I wanted to major in, if I wanted to be a doctor instead, or engineering, but I didn't want to do any of those things. I wanted to follow my dream, which was to go into journalism.
Now, Harvey, you said that there's some communities that make it easier in terms of building new affordable housing, and you mentioned Orlando. You know, we have covered your ongoing battle here on the Suncoast and your efforts to put in more affordable housing here. What institutionalized obstacles have there been for you?
Well, in most cities, Manatee County even, they're very, very proactive in wanting affordable housing. So if we go to Manatee County or to Orlando or to the state of Washington, they change the laws as we're building them. So if we have a density problem, or we're changing the density, or changing the number of parking spaces, while they're changing the law, they allow us to build, so that we actually provide affordable housing while people are waiting for, you know, in Sarasota we're waiting 2 years to get something passed or to get something done. In other areas we can do it immediately.
And what kind of backlog do you have in terms of applicants for apartments right now?
We opened 120 apartments in Bradenton at Robbins Apartments last Monday, and 120 new apartments, and we have 17 left.
Wow.
Okay, in less than 2 weeks.
Michael, is there an economic impact generally when you have more and more young people who are not going out and being able to rent their own apartments, or even having the money to go out to dinner occasionally or to the movies, and having to live in their home? Is it something that can be measured, if not on the economy, but also how their parents are doing?
Yeah, well, if you've got, I mean, the more mouths you have to feed, the higher your costs are going to be. So that certainly could be something that could take away money from their parents that they could be using on something else. But, I mean, yeah, I forgot what I was going to say.
Well, because, you know, in those years, traditionally, correct me if I'm wrong, that a lot of Americans get ahead, get towards their goal in terms of being able to save for retirement. It's after their kids leave the house.
Yeah, and that is one of the things that you see when you look at the data with millennials, is that a lot of them are putting off some of these big purchase items. You know, they're putting off buying a home, they're delaying marriage for a number of reasons why they're delaying marriage. But you know, they're delaying marriage, they're delaying having kids, they're delaying, you know, buying a new home, you know, investing in the stock market, getting savings, because when you enter the job market and you're earning these lower incomes at higher prices, it makes it very difficult to kind of get your feet and get stable before you can start to do some of those higher end purchases.
But that's only because they're looking for specific jobs. There are plenty of jobs that pay a lot of money. Plumbers make a lot of money.
So is the solution to just get the easy job that will pay you more money?
Not an easy job, but if you have a choice. You can either do what you really want to do and make less money, or you can do something that makes you more money. I always felt that, you know, I was worth a certain amount per hour, and whatever it was that I was going to do, that's what I would make, as opposed to saying I want to be a broadcaster.
You know,
I would never make it.
Adam Putnam, who's running for governor, is airing this commercial saying that we're pushing too many of our kids into college and saddling them with huge debt, and he's pushing trade schools for people who could probably, you know, make livings, you know, being a plumber or auto repair, Is that really the answer, though?
Well, I paid my daughter, I paid her off. I said I would buy you a new convertible if you quit school. And she quit college.
Why?
Because I didn't think she was learning anything there.
And that's actually one thing that I agree with, that, I mean, not everybody needs a college degree. I mean,
it's what we used to call the American dream.
True, but there's now more ways. If the return to a college education just isn't there, then look in other avenues. I mean, I agree that having more investment in vocational training and learning how to become a plumber or working in construction, I think that's a great idea.
All right, we have to take a quick break and we'll be back for final thoughts because I believe our millennials might have something to say about that in a moment.
Each day, researchers make discoveries that bring us closer to the moment when all cancer patients can become survivors. Their progress is made possible with the help of clinical trials. Clinical trials are the brightest torch researchers have to light their way towards better treatments. And if you've been diagnosed with cancer, they may be your brightest ray of hope. Speak with your doctor and visit standuptocancer.org/clinical trials to learn more. Together, we can stand up for all of us.
We are problem solvers striving for answers. Relevancy on every platform. We are driven to create content that's compelling, engaging, where it matters. We are neighbors that care about solutions, believers in making a difference, leaders, innovating in an exciting era of multimedia, reaching to always be the gold standard in our evolving landscape. We are Raycom Media. Find your opportunity today.
Sarasota Oxygen and CPAP is the largest locally owned CPAP supply company in the area. Is it time to replace your old equipment? The staff at Sarasota Oxygen and CPAP can show you the most up-to-date CPAP equipment and supplies to meet your sleep apnea needs, including portable travel devices and the SoClean automatic CPAP sanitizer. We serve all of Southwest Florida, giving the highest quality of care with the finest CPAP equipment. Please visit our website, sarasotacpap.com.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining.
And our guests join us right now for final thoughts. So Sam, what do you want people who are watching this right now to take away from what your business plan is in terms of after graduation and the prospect that you're going to have to live at home with your folks while you pursue your dreams of starting your own business?
I'm all for, if you have a dream and you want to do that for the rest of your life, then you should go do it. I mean, what's the point of doing a job that doesn't make you happy if that's what you're going to do for your whole life? My business, I know, is going to make me happy. I worked at a coffee shop for 4 years and just fell in love with it, and I knew that's the only thing that would make me happy to spend the rest of my life doing. So I know that, like, for people that are my generation, if they have a dream, I tell them to pursue it, whether, they have to be in that financial spot or they have to live with their parents, then so be it.
That she makes an interesting point there, Harvey, because people are more productive and they are happier people if they are working in a trade which they enjoy and which is their passion.
Ellen, I never worked a day in my life. I've enjoyed everything I've done. I've always been in my own business. I worked hard, but I always made more money than most other people because I worked harder or worked longer. Not that I'm smarter. I'm certainly not smarter than most people or any of the people at this desk. But I worked hard, and I feel that I enjoyed what I did.
And Laura, I mean, I see you every day. You bring your passion to what you do here. But what is your calculation in terms of pursuing your dream in journalism, but also pursuing your dream
paying the bills?
Yes.
I mean, I feel like you know, you work harder and you're going to make more money the harder you work. And that will be a reality for me eventually. But for now, I just have to continue to budget. And I don't live with my parents, but I wish I could, because I wish I could save a little bit more money. But if I did have the opportunity, there is no shame in saving a little bit of money for the future.
And Michael, I'm saving the biggest question for you because it's the last question. Do we have basically an institutionally error in our economy right now? Because, you know, a lot of people, and we talk about this so often on this broadcast, are struggling, married families are struggling to make ends meet here, and here we are bringing in another generation new to the workforce who are struggling even more than we were when we were starting out.
Yeah, well, that is a very big question, as you said. And so is there something systematic in the economy that is causing that to happen? I'm not entirely sure how to answer that question, honestly. I mean, there's certainly no kind of economic or political system that's going to be perfect. We really just kind of have to adapt to the situation that we find ourselves in, that we're given in a lot of cases.
And the situation is always changing. The economy of 2018 is not the same economy as 1975.
Exactly, and that's one of the things that's going to feed into this debate too, is, you know, the situation is completely different than it was 10, 20, 30 years ago.
Okay, we have to leave it there, but before we go, we want to share with you what some of you had to say about last night's show on the rising price of gas. Gas prices are approaching $3 a gallon, up 25% from last year, the highest since 2014. We went to Facebook to hear your thoughts, and Patrick says, if people would act a little concerned or upset, then I bet they would take some measures to get it back down. When the consumer and public do not care, then nothing is going to happen. Joanne says trading on oil futures, it needs to be abolished. And Lori says, since I drive for Uber, it hurts my wallet. I have to fill up every day or every other day to pick up riders. Well, if you'd like to join the conversation on tonight's topic, just visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/mysuncoast.com.abc7. And FYI, you can watch past discussions on demand. They're available on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and Roku. We want to thank our guests for being here tonight. ABC7's producer and resident millennial, Laura Barrero, Michael Snipes, an economics instructor at USF Sarasota Manatee, Sam Rankin, an honors student at USF Sarasota Manatee, and the king of affordable housing on the Suncoast, Harvey Vengroff. When we return, we'll have a final look at your First Alert weather. Plus, did the FBI have an informant in President Trump's 2016 presidential campaign, like the president is claiming? Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Chef Bob. Watch Aprons in the Kitchen every Wednesday morning on ABC7, where we'll be serving up the most awesome dishes. Then stop by your neighborhood Publix, pick up the recipe card and all the ingredients.
WWSB ABC7 is an equal opportunity employer, and we're looking for qualified people to join our dynamic team. For a list of current openings and to apply online, visit www.mysuncoast.com/contact/employment. If you're a motivated team player and you want a rewarding career in a fun, fast-paced working environment, WWSB ABC7 could be the perfect fit for you. Check out our list of openings now.
When ABC7 declares a First Alert Weather Day, it means we can expect major changes to weather conditions here along the Suncoast.
It means there could be severe, potentially dangerous weather ahead.
We tell you when a First Alert Weather Day is coming because we want you to be prepared.
A First Alert Weather Day is an advance warning. We'll let you know about any changes in the weather when the first signs appear.
ABC7 First Alert Weather, we're here for you.
I'll be right back.
Here's today's job of the day. ABC7 is seeking a detail-oriented part-time accounting clerk with at least 2 years accounting work experience. Visit mysuncoast.com/job of the day to apply.
Your primetime headlines are coming up in a moment, but right now let's get a final check on our first alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan.
Thanks, Alan. We are looking at the remnants of what was a storm system down in the Gulf of Mexico, a subtropical storm Alberto. Now it's a tropical depression just left over, a low pressure center. But boy, it looked rather impressive today moving through Indiana. I want to show you that satellite imagery. This is the visible imagery showing that. And there's a weak frontal boundary coming down now through western portions of Tennessee tonight. That front is going to bump this high pressure ridge off to the southeast. This trough of low pressure, which brought us a lot of rainfall this morning, will head on out of here, and we'll see a little drier forecast as you see this dry air kind of wrapping around this trough of low pressure that extends from Cuba all the way up through eastern portion of the Gulf of Mexico. That will eventually lift and get out of here, and some of this dry air is already starting to move on in. It's not a lot, but it's enough to shut down the heavy rainfall for a little while anyway. We still see a few showers out there, a line of showers extending out into the Gulf of Mexico, but they're very weak at all. We will get some scattered showers overnight, but not much. The rain chance at about 40%. You can see most of that activity weakening as it pushes toward the Gulf. And once in a while, a pop-up shower does pop up here and there, but it's really very light at this point. And Arcadia getting some light rainfall currently. The heavier storms that were around near Orlando are weakening as well, so things looking much better on the radar picture and should stay that way. Rainfall forecast for Thursday is not all that impressive either, and that would indicate the models are starting to show less activity, and I kind of go along with those. 80 degrees right now, and it's going to be a gorgeous sunset. South winds at 8, the pressure 2996. It's not all that high, but the dew point is at 74. That pressure should start to rise, though, as it noses in from the east of the state. The high today was 80. 71 was the morning low. And we had over an inch of rainfall at the airport. Look at that monthly total, well above the average, which is just over 2 inches for the month. And so it's been an extremely wet May, which is typically the peak of our brush fire season. We haven't had much of that with all that rain around. A few showers are possible near the coast in the morning. We'll have more sunshine. Temperatures will bounce up into the mid-80s, still slightly below average, but they'll still be around there. And then there goes the rainfall over parts of Michigan now. It's heading into Michigan, and it brought a lot of rainfall into western portions of Indiana today. And look at all the shower activity. That's all that tropical air that has moved on in associated with Alberto, and you can see the extending cold front now creating some showers over Mississippi and northwest Alabama. That front is going to head down this way and kind of push everything out. That trough gets pushed out, the high pressure ridge gets pushed to the southeast. We'll see more of a southwesterly flow by this weekend, which will allow inland showers to pop up here and there. It'll actually be warmer tomorrow in Kansas City, in Chicago, 91. They're experiencing summer already. In places like Detroit and Toronto, all the way up to 87 for a high tomorrow. For boaters, looks good. Seas running 2 feet or less, a light chop out there. And the 7-day forecast, less of a chance for rain tomorrow at 40%. There'll be a few around in the morning. I mentioned the coastal areas, not much. And then afternoon and inland storms later in the day. Same story on Friday. And then the weekend, we dry out a little bit. Looks good, lots of sunshine. Temperatures a bit warmer. Still humid though. Highs will be in the mid-80s. It'll feel a little bit warmer than that though, due to that higher humidity. Alan will be back with primetime headlines right after this. Stick around.
The following message is brought to you by Mesobook.com.
People who have been diagnosed with mesothelioma have many questions. How did I get this disease? What are my treatment options? How will this affect my loved ones? You need answers, which is why we offer a free book written by medical professionals who have treated mesothelioma.
Call toll-free at 1-800-777-1366 or go to mesobook.com.
My credit score was not that great.
I didn't understand what went into my credit score.
It was overwhelming.
Do you want to attain better credit health but don't know where to start? Credit Sesame can help by providing you a free credit score.
I love the app. It's so easy to use. It's like having your own financial coach.
Credit Sesame broke my credit score down into things that I understood, and it made me think, I can do this.
And the awesome thing about Credit Sesame, it's free.
It's 100% free.
You don't need to go it alone. Get started today at creditsesame.com.
Mark Zupan, part of the U.S. Paralympic rugby team. In my game, movement is everything. I get frustrated when my move is blocked, especially when that guy has no right to be there, even just for a minute. I love a challenge, but I don't like to play this game every day.
A message from the United Spinal Association.
Everyone's buzzing about Suncoast View.
I like watching the Suncoast View.
I like the Suncoast View.
The cooking segments, I love the recipes. The theater segments are terrific.
Join Stephanie Roberts, Linda Carson, and special guests on Suncoast View for hot topics, everyday issues, celebrities, food, fashion, fitness, and everything in between. Nothing is off limits.
They're just fun.
For smart, fun talk in the afternoon, watch Suncoast View, weekdays at 4 on ABC7.
Every time you purchase a fishing license or register your boat, you're helping to preserve our nation's coastlines, lakes, rivers, and streams, protecting memories for generations to come. Learn how your participation in boating and fishing can help the environment at takemefishing.org/conservation.
Checking primetime headlines, President Trump is continuing his unfounded claim an FBI informant infiltrated his 2016 presidential campaign. But as ABC's Karen Travers reports, even some of his most ardent supporters in Congress say it is simply not true.
President Trump is not backing down from his unsubstantiated claim that the FBI put a spy inside his campaign. But now some of his allies are saying publicly that is simply not true. At a campaign rally in Nashville Tuesday, President Trump continued to claim without evidence that the FBI put a spy in his 2016 campaign.
They had people infiltrating our campaign. Can you imagine? Can you imagine?
But two allies of President Trump threw cold water on that claim. Republican Congressman Trey Gowdy attended one of the classified FBI Justice Department briefings on this issue last week. He said last night on Fox News the FBI acted appropriately when it used an informant to reach out to Trump campaign officials about their contacts with Russians.
I am even more convinced that the FBI did exactly what my fellow citizens would want them to do when they got the information they got, and that it has nothing to do with Donald Trump.
Last week, the president said Gowdy and other lawmakers would see evidence to back up his claims of a spy.
When they look at the documents, I think people are going to see a lot of bad things happen.
Also last night on Fox News, Judge Andrew Napolitano, a reliable defender of the president, said this.
That is standard operating procedure in intelligence gathering and in criminal investigations.
The White House said today, despite what Congressman Gowdy said, which contradicts the president's claims, they still have cause for concern and would like to see this issue fully investigated. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
ABC canceled the reboot of Roseanne Barr's hit sitcom after her comments last week about a former Obama aide. Barr has been an outspoken advocate of President Trump on numerous issues, but today the White House reacted to the social media post.
The president simply calling out the media bias. No one's defending what she said. The president is the president of all Americans, and he's focused on doing what is best for our country.
Sanders says the administration is not defending Barr's tweet, but claims there is a double standard, saying the media makes negative statements about the president, but others are penalized for their inappropriate comments. And that's all the time we have for this evening. I'm Alan Cohn. Thanks for joining us. Have a good night.